The events in musical comedy I, Keno. And our next guest has joined the latest production of the very successful play. Let's see her in action.
We can lay low, but win and they'll love your wings and halo. Keep your wings, and to all men you'll be all things, like an angel with your wings. Your wings, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Probably best known as co-presenter of Off the Rails. I'm joined now by Caroline Moorhan. Caroline, you're very welcome. How did you go from Off the Rails to I, Keno? Love the hair, by the way.
My big Brian May mop. Well, it happened. I was shooting the programme It's My Show. Which went out over Christmas, which was loads of fun. And Peter Sheridan, the director, was working with me on the judging panel. The programme was basically children from 10 to 14 were trying their hand as a TV presenter. And I was kind of mentoring them through the sort of how to, you know, manage the whole thing, etc., etc. Yeah. So Peter and I, anyway, got on like a house on fire, and that evening he went off and had a cup of tea or whatever with his good friends, who are the producers of I, Keno. And he just happened to mention my name. I don't know what he said, but they said, oh, we might have an opening, can she sing? And he was like, oh, she's a great singer. And he hadn't a notion if I'd have known in my head or not. So fair play to Peter. And they called me to audition, and then they offered me the part. So that's literally...
And that's how it happened. Yeah. That was very easy. Of course, it's not your first time singing on the television, at least. We have seen you in action before. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at you this time.
With my body and soul, I want you more than you'll ever know.
So we'll just let it go, don't be afraid to lose control.
Yes, I know what's on your mind when you say, stay with me tonight.
Stay with me, but just remember, you're the one.
Well, you look and sound great. Who knew you had that fantastic voice?
Well,
beneath it all.
Kind of, it's under attack at the moment.
You have a bit of a dose, don't you?
Can you get over the timing? I woke up on the day of our preview and coughed and went, what's that? And it's just disintegrated into a really bad chest infection. I'm hoping now that I'm going to be over the worst of it but Saturday afternoon. I was literally in the dressing room going, I have no voice. So this has been an amazing experience for having to just go for it no matter what
No matter what.
You know, and if you are in worse state than me, one of the guys is on steroids at the moment.
Wow. And has to keep, the show must go on.
The show must go on no matter what. If you've got two legs to stand on, you go out, you know, and that's it.
But you have been acting on and off for years, haven't you? You've been acting since you were a child.
I have. It's kind of always been a love of mine since I was tiny. I think I started probably age 4. Like, my parents would send my sister and I to, you know, Irish dancing, gymnastics, acting, the whole 9 yards, and speech and drama was something I loved, and I've studied a lot. I've done a lot of exams in it. I'm a few exams away from teaching, actually. But when it came to the sort of college time where you make your decisions about which direction to go, I just didn't have the confidence to go for that full throttle, because I think it is a vocation, really. Yeah. You know, if you want to be an actor, you have to really believe in yourself and have that determination, because
and really love it.
Absolutely, and I do really love it, but at that age, I just didn't have skin thick enough to handle that, you know.
Well, of course, you have to have skin thick enough for this job as well, as
we both know. It took a little bit longer to get to that one as well.
Well, it did. We're going to have a look at that as well, the moment where you were told you were going to be a TV presenter for the Fame Game. Let's have a look at that now.
Oh, my God.
It's all coming out today.
And the person who will be presenting the Fame Game on Network 2 is Caroline.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's got to be wrong.
That was such a tremendous break, wasn't it? The shock on your face there.
That was pure shock. Pure shock, yeah. It was an incredible break. It really, really was. I mean, for a start, they were looking for a guy. they weren't looking for a woman, and they ended up with 4 women in the final 5. Karen Coster, of course, there from Exposé.
That's right.
But it was an amazing break, and the whole thing, I mean, my career from the very beginning has been absolutely blessed by just good fortune, chance, and being at the right place at the right time has a lot to do with it as well, because my sister found out about that. I would never have known that RT were doing an open call, which is really once in a blue moon, where that kind of an opportunity
presents itself, absolutely. What about presenting versus acting now? Would you give up presenting full-time to go acting, or vice versa, if you had to pick?
Well, people asked me that when I started in TV presenting, would I give up journalism? And I said then, no. No. I think, like, in terms of acting and television and presenting, both are kind of seasonal. I mean, I don't know any actor that's a full-time actor, bar perhaps Meryl Streep
or people in soap operas where they're turning it around the whole time.
But even in soap opera, you get a storyline. I mean, I did a bit of time with Fair City.
Don't worry, we haven't unearthed that.
I was going to say, this is your life, all these other snippets. But sorry about the every time
I cough.
But I kind of think that the kind of person that I am, I like to be involved in lots of different things. So I'd never close the door on one thing, unless, of course, if amazing opportunity came along. Like with Off the Rails, for example, that I've done kind of very concentratedly for 6 years. During the winter season, I've done other jobs around it, but that has been the mainstay because it takes so much time.
Sure.
Equally, with Aikino now, that is all I'm kind of focused on in terms of output like that, because every night I'm on stage in the Olympia, and then we're off to Limerick
You're off
for a
around the
week,
country.
and then Cork for a week.
Absolutely. Now, you have been in the limelight for a good few years now. And you've spoken recently about drugs and, I suppose, its presence in society now, particularly in media circles. You have been offered drugs on occasion, haven't you?
Well, really only twice. When I remember I was chatting with Ray Darcy about this, and he was going, what, only twice? I was like, yeah, I mean... the reason that I've spoken about it recently is because I got the fright of my life reading a newspaper article a couple of months ago, I think it is now, where a journalist just made out that it was completely normal and it was an extension of your vodka and cranberry or whatever, and it's not. And it frightens me to think that because of the prevalence of cocaine, that it's becoming standardised or normalised in people's minds.
Does it bother you as well that people might think that just because you're in the media that this is part of your life as well, that people might have that idea?
People's short-mindedness doesn't really bother me at all. Some people think that I might not have, anything between my ears because I work in a fashion programme, and I go, if that's the way you want to think, I'll leave you to it. I don't get bothered about what people think like that, It's very obvious. I think that's one of the reasons why I think that, despite how omnipresent cocaine is now in Ireland, the fact that I've only been offered it twice, I think, is because people must know how I feel about it. And I'm not, I'm zero tolerance, really. I don't feel, sure, if that's what they want to do over there in the corner, leave them to it. I'm like, if anyone's doing anything in the corner, get me out of here. I don't want to know anything about it. Exactly.
Something you do like to be near, something you're very close to, are doggies. You have 2 yourself.
I do.
No more than myself, you have 2 little bundles of joy in your life.
Yours are adorable as well.
They're lovely, but so are yours. I'm looking at the picture of you now as proud mum beside your sister with her baby. Interesting juxtaposition there, baby and pooches.
Yeah.
But you're involved with dogs now and promoting, I suppose, the care of them.
Well, yeah, I only discovered just before Christmas what the state of the welfare situation for dogs in Ireland is, and like I'm sure a lot of people, I thought that government funding would have been more, and that I didn't realise how badly off we're actually one of the worst in Europe for the destruction of dogs.
That's right.
So just to put it in context, last year 14,000 dogs were put down. The vast majority of them would be healthy, perfectly well dogs. But what's happening is our welfare centres and rescue places for dogs are completely overrun. They're underfunded. So quite often there's a 3 to 5 day rule where if an animal comes in, if they can't find a home within that space, they have to actually put the dog down.
We actually covered this item just last week on the
Did you?
show, and we got an awful lot of reaction to it. We absolutely did. So how are you getting involved? Because we're running out of time.
Pedigree are now launching a dog adoption drive. First of all, to get people aware of this. Also, they have pledged to raise about €100,000 for the welfare centres around the country by donating 1.5 cent of every single one of their products sold at the moment to support this. So really a message I'd like is anyone out there who's considering getting a dog, first of all, know how big a commitment it is, and then secondly, go to a rescue centre and give a dog a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
Caroline, thank you so much. The best of luck with that campaign. And, of course, with iKino. Caroline can be seen in the current production of iKino in Dublin's Olympia till the 26th. Then you're off around the country, and we're going to have the full details of all of the dates and the locations where you can get... feast your eyes on Caroline Moran and your ears as well when the cough goes. All the details are on our